Kitchens of Perth, to the hustle of New York, to the prestige of London, and now the glamour of Dubai, Chef Chris Malone has cooked his way across the world, cut his teeth in Perth's top restaurants, Fraser's, Balthazar and Clark's of North Beach, and even placed fourth in the Hans Bushkin's Global Young Chef Challenge. He's worked at 11 Madison Park, crowned the best restaurant in the world. Today, he's the chef de cuisine at Dinner by Heston in Dubai, where history meets cutting-edge dining. But before the jet-setting career and Michelin-level kitchens, Chris was a TAFE apprentice, learning the skills and discipline that lit the fire for his journey. In this chat, Chris shares how those early lessons shaped him and what it's really like working at the top and the adventures along the way.
My name's Chris Malone. I'm the head chef here at Dinner by Heston Blumenthal in Atlantis the Royal.
I know it was over a decade ago, but did TAFE influence the way you think about food and leadership?
Yeah, I think so completely. TAFE was kind of the perfect introduction into, working professionally in a kitchen, which I was doing, 4 days a week, and then TAFE to teach a lot of the foundation and fundamentals and basics of cooking. So, I think the people I met and what it exposed me to, and then through competitions as well, really accelerated, I guess, my career.
You did, yeah, amazing. And how did the lecturers help you with your professional development and growth in the kitchen? So, for example, your competition and training and all the leadership that you gained from that.
I think, to me, honestly, it's like anything. It's in any field or any workplace, it's you get out what you put in ultimately. So I think a lot of it is down to the individual, but the lecturers tailor based on what each student is kind of willing to put into themselves, from encouragement to push yourself to be better. I honestly, I'd say I wasn't the best student. I think, I was young. I thought I was great, probably a little bit of arrogance to that as well. But at the same time, I pushed myself, I always challenged myself to try and make things as best as I possibly could. I always tried to, teach myself new techniques. And I think the lecturers that I was lucky enough to be exposed to through my TAFE kind of journey, they saw, I guess, the fire in me and what I really wanted, and they saw a potential. So they really helped try and push that. And I might have thought they were maybe pushing me a bit hard or being a little bit mean or any of that, but I wouldn't change it. And I think, it was priceless.
Yeah. There's a fine line, isn't it? By being pushed or just letting you host and know what's within your abilities at the time, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. It is completely. It's a tricky one.
Was there any moment in your early career where you realized you wanted to push for the highest levels of the current culinary world?
I think it was probably when I went to South Korea, and so it was my first. I'd done a couple of competitions and more kind of small time or Australia, and then South Korea was the first one where I got appointed captain of the junior team for Australia, and it was like, I'd never traveled much, coming from quite humble beginnings. It was like we went on maybe, I think, one, my mum always tried, but family holiday was like we went on one to Queensland, so it wasn't really these big international travels or, going and seeing and traveling the world. And again, I wouldn't change any of that because it's all shaped me as an individual and how I am and, the person I am today. But I think the opportunity that it then gave me to, I would have been probably 17 years old or 18 years old, and to go to South Korea, a young man from Australia, just all of a sudden now leading a team amongst, the best kind of young chefs in the world, from all different backgrounds, like in this kind of convention center where you've done all the training and everything on the lead up, the fundraising dinners, and really, you're doing a full-time job on the side of this as well. So it's not easy. But then when you're standing there kind of on the showroom floor and you've got the Australian flag on your jacket and you're kind of like, wow, this is pretty exceptional, That's where you kind of get a taste of the highs that the industry can kind of provide, and you meet people from all around the world, and you hear about Michelin star restaurants, and some of your competitors work in these different places. So all these things that you didn't even know about as a young Australian chef now are all kind of at your fingertips. So I think being so young and being exposed to, and even an Asian country like South Korea, it's the food scene's insane, and it's nothing, the ingredients and the culture is nothing like I'd ever experienced before. So that in itself was a huge eye opener into the world and the possibilities of the world.
I think about some of the stuff you did back in the day, and I'm like, how did you have time to practice, compete, come up with all this stuff, and then go to work?
I mean, honestly, like I reflect on it today, and it's like, I mean, I think I'm busy today, but I've gotten pretty good at compartmentalizing and prioritizing, and I've managed to come up with kind of a balance of making sure I sleep enough and I have my stuff I do in my private life, and then I still, we still do the 12 to 14-hour work days, but I've come up with a much better balance. Whereas back then, I think I was just thriving off being so young, and it's like, you don't need a day off, and you can work 14 hours a day. And we were working like 14 hours a day. So it's like, and then on my days off, I was going in on training, and then there was no such thing as a holiday because that was going and competing. So it was
even
just
that,
like,
you were giving up all your holiday time to go compete.
So it was just a non-stop, just like absolute, like, I mean, it definitely burnt me out for sure. Like before I moved to New York, like up until I did my last kind of competitions, I think I was burnt out because it's, running Clark's, and then I was at Balthazar before there and doing the competitions on the side. Like, although things are on a much smaller scale than I was doing now, and, it was a team of 6 or 7 of us in the kitchen, whereas I've got a team of 32 chefs now. But, so, and we're doing the same covers. It's not like we're doing anything different, but it's pretty insane what you do and what you achieve, and the things that you kind of go through without even realizing until much later in life.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like for you now, like you'd be juggling, work, wife, kids. Could you even imagine any of that?
I miss downtime. I miss it. I don't know what I do with all of my time.
Exactly. So it's it's pretty wild.
Yeah. Is there anything that sticks with you from TAFE, like Chef Robert in the back of your head? Do it once, do it right, be proud.
Yeah, do it once, do it right, be proud. Martin Carlin, oh my, like he was an absolute beast in the kitchen. I remember, and some of the courses when I was there are completely irrelevant to day-to-day operation. But like, doing the buffet and glazing classes, and you see, what I mean by irrelevant is in like to today's generation of cooking. But what was back in the day of, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s in these big hotels where they had these giant buffet presentations and glazes and fruit carvings and stuff. And you just see that like the skill and the kind of grit that these older generation lecturers that kind of they went through, and the passion and the detail that they put into like these techniques. And I'm so glad I went through those classes, even though it's not applicable to what I'm doing now with a more kind of modernized world with cooking. But it teaches you refinement. It teaches you grit, determination, and I think you feed off the passion of those that are teaching you. So, or at least I do. So, seeing them genuinely care and be so passionate about things that they're passing on is something that you take with you kind of forever. And then obviously, Pat, the impact that he had throughout my life and my career, and the opportunities that he, presented to me and kind of pushed me into, I think that will just forever be priceless. So all of that kind of revolves around, the TAFE ultimately. Like if I had have gone to Fremantle TAFE instead of Joondalup, how would my career have differed? What opportunities would have happened, what wouldn't, what would have changed. There's all of these things that I strongly believe it's all about the people you surround yourself with, and honestly, everything is about people. Our job is about people, hospitality is about people. Without that, what do we have?
Exactly. Well, about that, when you're hiring someone, what do you look for in a chef?
Yeah, I look for personality, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if they, depending on position, ideally they've got a Michelin background or some experience, but especially if it's entry level, it's all about attitude, personality, how well they'll gel with the team. Do I feel like they're really wanting to learn and strive in an environment like this and really push themselves? You know, skill can be taught in any kitchen. Skill can be taught. You know, there's no point having a kitchen full of superstars if they're all assholes, you know. I mean, to be completely frank. But yeah, no, I look if they're a genuine and a good person, if they're going to fit well in the team. Diversity, I'd say, is a very huge thing, especially in Dubai and around the world. You need to make sure that you're providing equal opportunity for all. And I genuinely believe in trying to provide opportunities for people where they may not have that opportunity. So, you know, I might meet someone and they have a candidate that is coming from, you know, maybe a very different background where they haven't been as fortunate as others. And if I have the opportunity to potentially change their life and teach them and guide them and provide them with the opportunity to work in a Michelin star restaurant or in, you know, our kitchen is ridiculous, you know. So if I am in a position of being able to do that or make a change, then that's something that I take pride in.
It's amazing. Well done. I think, yeah, as you said, it's about the person, isn't it? Skills can be
Yeah,
taught.
no, 100%. And
Someone
like, I mean,
wants to learn.
even, yeah, for example, we've got a young girl in our kitchen and she came from Kaleidoscope, which is basically it's a buffet restaurant in Atlantis, the Palm. So it's you know, in the Royal and Dinner by Heston, you know, we're a Michelin star restaurant. We're in, you know, it's the most ultra luxury hotel in the world. And so this young girl, she'd stop me in the corridor every day. Chef, how are you? And, you know, I'd have a conversation with her and ask her how her day is, or I'd pass through her kitchen and I just, you know, like food is food. Like it's either tasty or it's not. And you can see if someone's passionate or, you know, how much detail they put into, you know, whether they're cutting a carrot. And some people put in a little bit extra and go the extra mile, and some don't. And so I think that she showed just true character of herself as an individual of, you know, even just trying to make an effort to have a conversation with me walking through the corridor. And it's a two-way street as well. I could have easily just brushed her off and, you know, continued on with my phone call or, you know, going to my meeting. But I saw something in her and that spark, and, you know, and she now works with us in the kitchen. So she's gone from working in what you would say is just a very generic hotel buffet restaurant to now being a chef in a Michelin star restaurant. So I kind of provided her with the opportunity to step into her first Michelin star restaurant. And then from there, who knows where she could go? You know, she could use this as a springboard to then travel the world. You know, she could go to, like I did, to a 3 Michelin star, or it's all down to her now as to what she's looking for.
Wow, that's amazing. So any young chef, do you think there's a skill that they need to have or they should look at learning to have or gaining?
Just drive.
Just
Determination.
drive?
Yeah, honestly, I think like as I'm getting older, I'm kind of analyzing things a bit more and thinking about things a little bit more. And it's like I genuinely think that like determination and drive completely outweighs talent every single time. Like you could have people that are so talented and they just you know, they're distracted. They believe that their talent, they know they're naturally gifted, and they let it go to waste. They think, oh, it'll just come to me, or I can just get the opportunity, or I can do that. And then you see the people that are absolutely grinding on the side, and maybe they don't have that natural kind of ability yet to, you know, sear a perfect fish and bring it to temp, and, you know, multitask with 4 different sauces and cooking things on the side and just move looking like they're dancing. Maybe they don't have that yet. But if they're just constantly grinding every single day, trying to better themselves, they'll overtake the person with talent. So I think I just really want to see people that are really trying to push themselves and really just a strong focus on wanting to better themselves every day.
Yeah, big time. It takes me back to that story you used to tell about you wanting to get the smear right. And you come into phrases or whatever it was and just practice.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I tell students that one all the time.
Yeah,
A bit of
and it
motivation.
translates to everything, you know. It could be doing a rocher with ice cream. It could be, and you
Practice.
package some butter and you just stand there for hours just trying to get the perfect rocher so that
Yeah.
you nail it every single time. You know, it's cutting something in a perfect dice. Another thing I think back to from TAFE was all the knife cuts, you know, Julienne, Brunoise, Macédoine, and it's
Yeah.
like some people they just absolutely hack at it and they put something absolutely terrible up, and then you've got the people that are just genuinely trying to do something perfect, or they take pride in their knives and they sharpen them and they make sure they're getting a beautiful cut. Like that's what I mean. It's the separation.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. I know you've just done the new menu for Dinner by Heston,
Yeah.
and it's innovated and it's got a lot of history. How do you balance that tradition and pushing boundaries at the same time?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting, I think, the transition at dinner. So I feel like we've got new but old leadership that's kind of joined the Fat Duck group. So we have Jockey, he was OG Fat Duck, kind of. I think between the very early 2000s, he was leading the pastry team at the Fat Duck. So a lot of the innovation for that restaurant in its heyday of, you know, when they were 3 Michelin star best restaurant in the world, a lot of it came from him. And then the development of dinner, you know, doing the tipsy cake and dishes like that. And then he left and joined the Gordon Ramsay and basically led a lot of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants, and from a very senior, like executive level of for TV production, restaurant openings around the world, and really just being kind of Gordon's right hand man. So he's recently rejoined as the culinary director global for the Fat Duck Group. Well, recently, I mean, in the last year, and so then he's really wanting to bring a dynamic approach to the group, and then I think with me and my quite versatile experience of different restaurants. You know, I was just in Franson, and then in Oceano, I've developed my own style, and then I live in Madison Park, and then also, you know, London as well, and then also the time I spent at dinner before. So I had a base understanding of what dinner was, you know, the recipes, the structure, and it was all about preservation. You know, we wanted to basically mirror the menu that was in London. It was all about the classics. It wasn't so much about innovation, it was about preservation. And so then since I've rejoined, what's been so refreshing is they want to innovate and we want to change. And we want to make Dinner Dubai our own identity and step so far away from what they do in Dinner London, whilst obviously keeping the roots and keeping the inspiration from Heston and the concept of, you know, the mostly British history, but also global history. So working with historians and so on. But what's refreshing for me is being able to bring some of these techniques and ingredients that I've seen in these other restaurants and developed myself, and being able to apply that to what we're doing here in a day to day. And what I think with like innovation is it's like food trends. I feel like it constantly changes, and you would have seen it develop and grow like so much over the years of you cooking as well. But
Yeah.
I feel like we're reviving and bringing back what was, you know, probably in the 90s of like cooking raw, you know, like directly over fire, showcasing the proteins a little bit more in their own natural kind of beautiful essence, rather than, you know, blitzing everything into a paste, shaping it, and putting it into a sous vide and a water bath. So I think, you know, we've all heard the stories of Dinner by Heston when it first opened in London, and they had a guy that worked on the vacuum machine section, you know. So I mean, I don't know how true that is, you know, but they're stories that I heard. And so I think you know, we're stepping away so far from that now at Dinner Dubai, where we're roasting chickens on the crown that we stuff with a farce underneath the skin, or you know, we cook langoustines directly over charcoal. You know, we're utilizing the Josper for encapsulating as much smoke and kind of wood essence throughout the food as well, from vegetables to proteins to everything. So we're almost going backwards to go forwards, if that makes sense. So going back to what was the techniques and kind of origins of cooking, and reviving that to make it what is relevant today. So it's just, I think it's quite funny how trends, they come and go, and you see molecular gastronomy and you know, sous vide and chemicals and foams, and 100% it has its place, but I think its kind of era is slowly diminishing.
Yeah. Yeah, you hit it on the head, didn't you? That is what's in everyone likes at the moment. You've answered
Yeah,
all
yeah,
my
yeah. I mean, and, and it's
questions.
global, and it's global, and it translates to Australia. I was just back in Australia, and all the best restaurants, they don't have to be super fine dining, but I'm just talking about like great restaurants and brasseries or wine bars. They're all cooking over fire. Like a lot of them don't even have a gas burner or
Well, the
or
flavor's
anything in
so
the
good,
kitchen.
isn't it? It brings
Yeah,
out so much.
yeah. And that's what I'm appreciating so much now is that everything and cooking in general is flavor forward. It's less about kind of obviously visual and then cooking at a Michelin star level. A lot of it is quite visual, and you've got the herbs and arranging with the tweezers and that aspect. But I feel like the origins and the DNA of the plate is really just showing respect to the product and cooking, as raw as possible. Directly over the fire. It's really showcasing things in their own natural beauty.
It's great. Oh, you mentioned all those top restaurants and you're rubbing shoulders with all these top
Mm.
chefs. Do you ever just sit back and go, I've made it. This is it?
I mean, there's definitely pinch myself moments. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, even just for the opening of FZN, where for Beyond Franson, it's like I was a part of the senior team for Beyond Franson. Like that's insane. And we just opened a restaurant that went from nothing to 3 Michelin stars in 6 months. And then, the executive chef, like for my chef that was there, Torsten, he was the head chef at Noma for what, 10 years, I think it was. So it's like these people that, and then his brother is Eric from Jordnær in Copenhagen. So another 3-star. It's like the couple of degrees of separation from all of these giants of our industry is just ridiculous. Like I jump on a phone call with Heston Blumenthal. Like it's pretty ridiculous. Like honestly, it's wild. And I went to the Michelin Gala, and pretty incredible to go up on the stage and receive a star. But I'm sitting in the chef's briefing, and I look around, and I've got Jason Atherton in front of me that I'm just having a conversation with, or even a couple of the different executive chefs that I call good friends. It's pretty wild, honestly. And I never ever thought that kind of it could ever come to this kind of heights. It's pretty wild.
You've done an amazing job. And yeah, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. I
Amazing.
mean, I don't know. I feel like it's like I was saying about the drive and the determination. It's kind of like I don't ever, and it's probably such a bad quality to have, but I feel like it's never enough. And it's
Yeah.
not like not like that I'm not proud of achievements or any of that, but it's like, or that what I'm
What's
doing
next?
isn't enough. It's more in the sense of the what's next. Like I always want to feel like I'm pushing myself, and it's almost like I need to keep thriving for more or driving for more. And what can we do next? It's not like I'm going to kind of keep dwelling on how incredible this one night was, or that's going to be the highlight of my life. It's kind of like, that's done. Okay, I've pushed that aside, and now keep pushing for whatever's next, and whatever that might be,
What is next?
Honest, that's the the tricky one. I've honestly got no idea. I mean, obviously, genuinely, it's just to try and provide the best experience possible for the guests. So constantly, just that's just an everyday and every night thing. From a personal level, I've just been focusing a lot on myself and my body, my fitness, my sleep. I feel like as you get older, you need to almost reverse engineer yourself so that you can optimize and maximize. So I don't want to be 60 and immobile, so a lot to do with fitness is my life basically, and trying to make sure that I stay as fit and healthy in every possible way for as long as possible. But then from a professional level, 2 Michelin stars would be amazing. They have it in London, so why can't we have it here? So that's definitely an aspiration, but it's there's a lot of business side to it as well. And being a part of Atlantis the Royal is pretty incredible, some of the things that we see, but it's taught me so much about the financials and understanding a P&L and just really how to structure a business and how to hold yourself in a very, very large corporate environment as well. So it's just constantly trying to better in that aspect as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for your time, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no, it's nice to catch up. I know it's been
Yeah.
a little bit of back and forward